off them when it comes to trying to make connection, back to ball, do the basics right. And a platform like the ICC Women's T20 World Cup Asia qualifier proves just the kind of arena for them to test themselves, try and form a good core as they look to find an identity for themselves.
Nicely played. Quick single towards covers. Good fielding. This could be close. But this has been a good start here by Kavita. Not conceding too many runs. Just 2 of the first over. We have another 4 overs to go. That's 24 deliveries from here on. And Anisha, interestingly, take a look at Taranga Gajnaike and Zainab Fazli as well. It's still to make a mark. Very early days. Debut campaign for them, fairly understandable, dangling nerves, nervous energy, and they've been put into a situation where they need to go and play some aggressive cricket.
Absolutely reflective of how young a side Bahrain is when it comes to their international experience, taking their early steps in the world of women's T20I cricket. Played only 24 T20I so far, and victories have been few, Mikhail. But each outing they get, each international experience is a building block.
Yes, we look at the larger picture as a team, that's the global qualifier. But at the same time, you've got to build players as well. Bahrain just focusing on the youth. You've got to have a pyramid-like structure, strong at the base, peaking at the top.
And speaking of youth, we have the young Pooja Mahathir with the ball from the far end for Nepal.
Cut away. There's protection in the deep. Yeah, Pooja Mahathir. She's been a superstar in Nepal women's cricket. Quite an inspiring story as well. And she's done exceptionally well in a very short career so far.
All of 19 years of age is Pooja Mahathir, rated as one of the best up-and-coming young all-rounders, batting all-rounders in the current modern-day game. Captains the under-19 side, of course, shepherded the team at the under-19 Women's Asia Cup, and of course, the ICC Women's Under-19 T20 World Cup that was held in Malaysia, and is known to steer the side across both these departments. And don't forget, she's also a terrific fielder.
Yeah, gun fielder is what I've heard, the vice captain of the side in this campaign. Interesting story about her. I'll tell you after this delivery. Beautiful. Look at that for line and length. It's leaving the left-handed bat. I believe she took to cricket only to keep her fitness. That happened during the COVID 2019 is when she decided to focus more on her fitness, Anisha. And from then on, Pooja Mahathir has become a household name in Nepal cricket.
And in part, her cricketing journey is indebted to a certain Hardik Pandya, because her father is a big fan of Hardik Pandya, the India superstar.
What a start here for Nepal. Bahrain 4 for 1. They have another 18 deliveries left. And certainly delight their coach as well, Manoj Katwar, and also the consultant coach who's been drafted into this tournament, Manish Jha. Nepal ensuring that they have all bases covered. Remember, 2 teams from this 9-team event qualify for the global qualifiers. That's why wins early will set up an opportunity to get there. Kavita to continue its pace from both sides. Gajnaike still to get off the mark. Fazli back in the dugout. Captain in the middle. Look at that for line and length. I just wonder if Deepika Rasangika should have opened the batting here, Anisha, for Bahrain.
100%. She is easily their most established batter, and of course did hold a world record for a fairly long time. In 2022, she struck a mammoth 161 of just 66 balls in a T20I against Saudi Arabia, the highest score at the time, individual score in women's T20I cricket. Subsequently, that was battered by Lucia Taylor of Argentina. The following year, But what a terrific knock that was, Mikhail. I gather you had watched it live?
I was commentating for that game and I did the presentation as well with the whole Bahrain team really rejoicing that moment because records stumbled that afternoon with Bahrain going on a leather hunt playing against Saudi Arabia. I still remember that very clearly, Anisha.
Quite the feat to make 161 in a 20-over game. And the pair you see in the middle right now, bear in mind, are both Sri Lanka born, Taranga Gajnayake and of course Deepika.
This could be very close, but a good single, good judge of a run. Oh, direct hit. Just felt Gajnayake was a little slow in getting into a crease, but very good fielding there.
Excellent pick up and release. Very quick to it was the fielder. But I think both these Bahrain batters might have missed out a trick. They did not run off that ball that ricocheted off the stumps. It had gone outside the 25-yard inner circle. So a bit more alertness perhaps would have brought them that additional run. And every single run right now is going to be absolute gold dust.
Yeah, nicely bowled. She's finding her channels very well this morning. It's a bit windy now. The sun has disappeared. Bit of an overcast condition. It's a 5-over contest. Talk about the fielding. In the previous delivery, it was Samjhana Kumari Khadka with a direct hit at the non-striker's end.
We've already seen a couple of superlative runouts effected on this very ground. And it came from this Thailand fielding unit yesterday in their emphatic 8-wicket win against Kuwait. Captain Narumal Chaivai effecting one herself. Again from this very position. Mid-on, mid-off, inside the circle.
Yeah, slashes hard at this one. Has enough of bat on it to run away for a boundary. The first 4 for Bahrain. Coming a streaky edge, but they'll all count at this stage. And Deepika as well is off the mark. Gave that a wild slash, and it helps their cause.
Well, as they say, when you swing, swing hard, because there are thick edges for the taking, especially ones that bring you as many as 4 runs. A fortuitous start to the innings for captain Deepika Rasangika.
That was not far from Ruby Podar behind the stumps. Just felt she was slow to react with. Ideally, a first slip would be interested in that, but sometimes as a wicket keeper, you need to just give yourself that outside chance to grab such stunners. Change in the field now, 4 on the off inside the circle. Deep third and a deep backward point.
Enterprising appeal, more out of hope than anything else. And that is going to be the end of the third over. Bahrain 9 for 1.
Just to add perspective to how this tournament pans out, you have quite a few qualifiers happening, Anisha. 2 teams qualify from the Europe qualifier that's scheduled for August. 1 team will qualify from the East Asia Pacific qualifier that happens in September. 2 teams from the Africa qualifiers, the date is still to be announced. And 2 teams from the Asia qualifier, which is currently underway. And then you go into the global qualifiers.
That's of course expected to be held early next year. And what are they really playing for? It's the big one, the ICC Women's T20 World Cup to be held in the UK next year. The dates are out, June, July. Bookmark your dates because the final, remember, it's going to be held at the Lord's Cricket Ground. The last time it held a Women's World event, it was a packed out game. India versus hosts England in the 2017 ODI World Cup final. So women's cricket is making quite the mark globally. And of course, do not forget, cricket is going to be part of the LA 2028 Olympics in this very format. So who knows, we could see some of these associate nations, if they go on to put on a string of good performances over the years, stitch quite a miraculous story and journey for themselves and maybe fancy their chances of a podium finish at the Olympics.
An ocean of opportunity here for all the teams and players. Picked up, played towards the mid-wicket region. They're running the first run fast. What an effort there in the deep. Brilliant. Now that's inspirational. Keeps it to 2 what looked like a certain 4. Talk about working on their fielding. And that was Roma Thapa there. Absolute brilliant effort. I believe she's also a wicket keeper on the side, but doubling up as a fielder over here. It looked like as if two fielders were masquerading into one here.
A superlative effort in the deep from Roma Thapa. We did see the Nepali fielders putting in the hard yards, going about their drills, pre-match routines ahead of the start of play.
Just a wild swing across the line and fairly understandable. That's the go-to shot at this stage.
All cross-batted shots so far from both these left-handers. Sri Lanka born and trying to make their mark here in Bangkok, Thailand. Deepika Rasangika, of course, has played for Sri Lanka as many as 31 ODIs from 2008 to 2014 and 32 T20Is for them.
That's been picked up. Don't bother running. They'll race away for a four. She was eyeing that region for some time now. And finally she finds good result to it as well. Rasangika will hold the aces for Bahrain if they have to find a substantial total this morning.
She muscled this very well. Better connection this time around than the previous one. And that brings up the second four for Bahrain captain.
Yeah, what she did really well this time was she cleared that right foot of hers. That gave her the opportunity to free her arms. Hindu Burma is a very proactive captain. Every delivery she's changing the field. Now there goes a deep backward square leg and a deep mid wicket just for that cross-batted heave. Remember, this is the penultimate over. It's a 5-over shootout. 3 fielders in the deep on the leg side. Smartly done. Cheeky, adventurous. But that's what you need to do. You've got to manufacture shots and force the issue to bring about runs. And Rasangika is playing a gem of an innings in the middle.
Ingenuity from the Bahrain captain here. Shuffled across so early, got into position and middled it into the fine leg region for her third boundary of the innings. Sensational start to her, stay in the middle, and Bahrain would need more of that from their skipper.
And that's why I wonder, why did the captain not open the innings in this 5-over contest? It's so important you send the batter who can do the bulk of the scoring. For someone to play a shot like that, she is the batter to watch out for.
And the question is also for the Nepal captain, why isn't the leg side more heavily fortified? She's clearly eyeing that region.
It's turning out to be a very good over so far. Already 11 runs in the first 5 deliveries. Then we head into the final over. Bahrain 21 for 1.
Both of these players, of course, age 41, but clearly showing what they can do with the bat as they try to shape the identity of this young Bahrain side. Young otherwise, of course.
She struggled this morning. 11 deliveries for her 2 runs, contrasting to what Rasangika has done. She's come back well here, Pooja Mahato, after conceding a couple of boundaries. 4 overs done, 21 for 1. Ideally, Anisha, the next 6 deliveries should be Rasangika's.
100%. Doesn't look like Gajanayake is looking very comfortable in the middle. So yeah.
And that's why if I'm Rasangika right now, the captain, I'll deny the single only to have maximum strike, taking nothing away from Gajanayake. Could be an off day in the middle. And for the first time, Nepal introduces spin, and in the final over. Yesterday, UAE in a shortened contest in the 7 overs had as many as 6 overs of spin and just 1 over of pace. Today it's been the other way for Nepal. They have 4 overs of pace and 1 over of spin.
Change bowler introduced. It's going to be the pace of Shabnam Rai. Jersey 77. Can be a handy all-rounder.
Swept away, drifting down the leg side. Thank you very much, says Deepika Rasangika. What an innings she's playing. Maybe just putting on the pressure on the fielding side now. But this is what's needed if you're Bahrain.
The bowler started off on the wrong line and the ball kept going with it all she needed to do was just lunge forward and help it along the way. Deservedly punished by Deepika Rasangika. She's dealing in boundaries now. 4 to her name already. And it may not be long, Mikhail, before we see that maximum. She's got that power as she's shown over the course of her career across both these teams, Sri Lanka and Bahrain. Moved to Bahrain in 2017 in pursuit of a better life for herself and her family, and has been such an integral member of the side ever since. And she goes again into the leg side, a wild swipe, gets just the single run.
Yeah, pressure on Rai. She's conceded a boundary of a first delivery. That brings Gajanaike on strike, who's not been able to find the middle of the bat. 11 deliveries for her too. Time has come to tee off. Is 26 enough? Is 30 enough in a 5-over contest? Quick single that brings the captain on strike.
Wasn't a clean pickup there from Kavita Joshi at short fine, and that allowed the run to be taken. Fortunately for Bahrain, it allows the captain to be on strike for the next 3 balls. Deny the non-striker a single would be a good ploy here.
There again, clearing that right foot of hers. Desperate attempt in the deep, but that not stop the ball from going away for a 4. She's playing a blinder here, Rasangika. Walked in when a team was in deep trouble, and she's put the pressure back on the bowling side.
Muscle, menace and precision. That shot had it all. Way too much for the diving Riya Sharma at deep square leg. 20 of 10 for Bahrain captain here already. And such a spectacular innings this is turning out to be. A couple more blows and Bahrain could be in with a chance with potentially scripting an upset.
3 more deliveries. This one's high up in the air, over mid-off. Work to do for the fielder in the deep, and that trickles away for another boundary. That's a fine hit. Already signaled by Akbar Ali Khan. Back-to-back boundaries. This time straighter. Just choosing her spots.
She made her intent clear so early. Came down the track and gave it the Humpty. Beat Kharka inside the circle, and then Rubina Chetri in the deep. A blinder of an innings. This is turning out to be 28 now of just 12 deliveries.
This one's high. Fielder reading herself over her. That's a power hit. And that's a home run as well. What a finish to the innings by Bahrain. And what an over this has turned out to be.
Absolute box office stuff from Bahrain captain Deepika Rasangika. Finishes the innings off in style with a maximum, and Bahrain have put on a staggering 41 for just the loss of a solitary wicket in their allotted 5 overs. Remember, it's a 5 overs a side contest, and the happier side of the two, trust me Mikhail, is going to be Bahrain.
Yeah, that's what happens when you accumulate 20 runs of the final over. They were 21 for 1 after over number 4, and they're 41 for 1 after over number 5. And when the bulk of the scoring comes from one batter, it's fairly indicative what's been the story in the middle. Out of 41, 34 has come from the bat of Deepika Rasangika in only 13 deliveries. The momentum is with Bahrain at this moment. And fair to say, after a tidy start by Nepal, they'll feel the heat walking back, knowing they need to chase 42 in 5 overs when they come back.
Not much to write home about Nepal's bowling performance there. They had won the toss and decided to field first, but were put under a lot of pressure.